Thank you for choosing to watch the Watchman News Headlines video. Our full episodes can now be seen over at Patreon with much more added content for just $2 a month. Link is in the description. If you cannot afford $2 a month, please consider using our Amazon affiliate link, purchasing from our Teespring store, or making a PayPal donation. All links are below. In order for us to grow, we have to make changes to enable it. Our time is valuable, and we have been one of the very few news sources actually dedicated to bringing you honest, hard-hitting, actionable news and information. Plus, for your $2 a month, you do not have to hear me blabber about these links. It's a win for us all.
Bullshit.
Thank you. Good evening, Watchmen and Watchwomen of YouTube. So tonight we had a discussion about mental warfare, and basically, I had spoke on an article, several articles, but I had spoke on a situation involving the spa shooting that had happened yesterday. A horrific crime indeed, but as usual, the mainstream media is trying to twist the narrative and contort it, and now it is absolutely insane. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything I talked about, but I will give you this a little bit to look out for, okay? Just watch out for men that are trying to fight against this agenda to demonize men, so to speak, and de-womanize women. Look out to them starting to call the men that speak out on this stuff as domestic terrorists. Just watch, because I see the narrative playing out. And if you'd like to see it, go to New York Times and read the articles on New York Times about the incident that happened yesterday. And you will see the mental propaganda and games that are going on and what all they're doing to try to change the narrative of the story when the alleged killer has flat out said what his motive was, what his narrative was. Flat out said it, right? And they're trying to completely change the narrative as being anti-Asian, as being male supremacy. They actually even use the words male supremacy. Hang on, folks. I had been telling people here on this channel here before we even went to Patreon for quite some time that they were getting ready to do their big push. They, those, them, those in control. That's what they're doing. They're doing their full-on, all-out push to destroy anything, any type of fabric that keeps this nation together. Because takeover time, I'm afraid is here. I'm afraid is here. So keep an eye out for that. Over across the pond in the UK, they are talking about having curfews that, like for instance, after 6 p.m., men aren't allowed to be out on the streets. Yeah. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. So anyway, let's do some headlines here. And I urge you, if you'd like to hear more about it, $2 a month. There's a lot of good stuff over there on Patreon. So, okay. Starting out with articles from this morning that I put out. Biden tells migrants don't come over, downplays own DHS chief's warning of biggest immigration surge in 2 decades, and blames Trump. Of course, gotta blame Trump. How that works, I don't know. Japanese court rules gay marriage ban is unconstitutional and landmark decision. UK faces decline in oil production. My camera against your baton. Protesters rally in Paris as Senate debates controversial bill aimed at protecting police. Taiwan bolsters military presence in South China Sea and says Beijing is capable of starting war. Burglars to be tagged with GPS device and monitored 24/7 as UK cracks down on repeat offenders. Russia demands Twitter ban account of Khodorkovsky's MBK Media 1 day after warning U.S. tech giant could be blocked entirely. I know I said the name wrong. I always do, right? Half of British adults to be inoculated against COVID-19 by week's end, says UK minister, and reassures that the jab is safe. India to cut Saudi oil imports amid escalating standoff over output and diversification drive. I kind of got it out. Boris Johnson's military spending boost makes London look aggressive and hostile. New measures play into hands of Moscow hardliners. Weekend lockdown not enough to slow spread of COVID-19 in Paris. Top hospital official warns as government mulls tougher measures. Vietnam made COVID vaccine to be available by end of 2021. India's daily COVID infections hit 3-month high as country rushes to vaccinate population. COVID-19 pandemic can't be over until it's over everywhere, preventative medicine expert tells Boom Bust. Biden says killer Putin will pay a price for alleged U.S. election meddling as Russia insists claims just pretext for sanctions. Let's see. Statue of Netanyahu relieving himself appears in Tel Aviv as Israelis head to the polls. Aussie spy agency says it won't call out Islamic terrorists but will say religiously motivated attackers instead. Sounds to me like they're more interested in getting rid of religion altogether. White supremacist propaganda incidents nearly doubled across U.S. in 2020, says a report. French privacy watchdog probes Clubhouse over possible breach of EU rules. BBC health correspondent spiraled rapidly downhill after COVID jab and could barely get out of bed, but says he'd do it again. Beijing blasts U.S. and Japan over joint statement, laments shameless and unpopular attempt to hinder Chinese rejuvenation. EU ambassadors approve first China sanctions against Tiananmen Square crackdown, diplomats say. Yeah, I know, I screwed that up too. Joe Biden backing Putin is a killer claim alongside tough sanctions talk is attack on whole of Russia, says Moscow's top MP. EU announces COVID-19 vaccine passports, plans to restart free and safe movement. Sanctions against Russia are inflicting enormous damage on both sides, warns an EU watchdog, calling on Brussels to build bridges. U.S. government to place fresh sanctions on exports to Russia in response to alleged poisoning of opposition figure Alexei Navalny. Gold symbolizes strength of the country. Poland plans to add more bullion to its coffers. UK's Johnson, I love that. UK's Johnson, like UK just has one big Johnson, right? UK's Johnson says best thing about AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine is he's getting it very, very shortly. And that in the headline, talking about UK's Johnson and being very, very shortly, and I'll let you figure it out from there. Investigators say spa shootings not racially motivated. Suspect blamed, how's that worded? Hang on. Sex addiction, essentially. Not racially motivated. Suspect blames spas for his sex addiction. Yeah. Sorry. Thousands of submissions from dozens of countries received at annual photo contest in memory of slain journalist Andre Stenin. UK's smoking ruin of a health department forced government to take charge of COVID vaccine rollout, says PM's ex-aide Cummings. Let's see, at least it wasn't an article about, UK's Johnson coming. But anyway, Russians are pretty, I know, I'm horrible. Russians are pretty good scientists. EU internal market chief says he has no reason to doubt Sputnik 5 vaccine. Must be that male, what was it? Male supremacy. That's what it is. It's my male supremacy. Tesla stock is a bubble and it's going down, top fund manager says. Delaying sanctions lift even for 1 hour is great betrayal of Iran. Rouhani warns factions ahead of presidential election. I wish Jen had a mic. I do. And mine won't reach her. But I'm as man as it gets, am I not? When I say that, I mean, I don't mean the macho type of stereotype kind of guy. I mean the type of, a man, no bullshit kind of guy. Don't bullshit me with your bullshit kind of guy. Okay, she's saying, Would you deem me in any way a male supremacist?
No.
Said no. Would you deem me in any way aggressive? No. Said no. But at the same time, I will tell you to take a feminist, and when I say feminist, you know what I mean when I say the word feminist, right? I will tell you to take that agenda and shove it straight up your ass in a heartbeat, won't I? Do you have a problem with that?
No.
You know why you don't? Because you got some common sense. You probably also see what they're doing, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Why I'm with her. Because she doesn't fall for this society mind trap of ignorance. Folks, you really better get a hold of this. And I'm speaking back again towards what I spoke about during the monologue on Patreon. But you better get a handle on this. Because they're going to push this hard. They're going to push this hard. They're trying to do everything they can to destroy every bit of fabric between man and woman that they can. Don't let them do it. Spain investigating woman's death 2 weeks after dose of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. I bet the vaccine has got male supremacy. Russian woman refused custody of her children after court determined she has immoral lifestyle because of tattoos and piercings. Poland, and you see, by the way, they're doing everything they can, and they will. Poland announces new national lockdown as COVID-19 third wave gathers pace, with UK variant becoming most prevalent. Britain is damaging global security by expanding its arsenal of nuclear weaponry and using Russia as justification, warns the Kremlin. European Commission chief warns bloc could bar COVID vaccine exports to countries with higher inoculation rates. Israel's top court annuls Netanyahu government's daily cap on citizens returning to the country during COVID-19 pandemic. French ex-President Sarkozy on trial over illegal financing of 2012 campaign 2 weeks after corruption conviction. CNN ripped for article admitting anti-lockdown Florida is booming, but implying Governor DeSantis shouldn't be taking credit. Iran blames shooting down of Ukrainian passenger jet on defense operator mistakenly firing in wake of Soleimani killing. Peak Colt. Oh, well, I can't even understand why they put it that way, but Hillary Clinton fans flood Twitter with "I'm still with her" hashtag as hashtag resistance grasps for a new cause. Yeah, ridiculous. UK to be hit by significant reduction in COVID vaccine supplies within a fortnight, prompting a rollout change, says leaked NHS letter. Strikingly high COVID-19 mortality rate reported in Spanish children could have been centurions. I think that's centenarians. Centenarians misreported as kids, not centurions. Centenarians. Sorry. Local furious as fire-resistant Russian World War II monument burns down after kids playing accidentally set it alight. Health officials investigating white women-only job posting by Canadian hospital. Scottish government to nationalize country's ScotRail operator from next spring when franchise expires. Russian envoy to U.S. summoned back to Moscow for consultations on future ties with Washington. With U.S. immigration crisis escalating, Biden administration attempts to ban Border Patrol agents from talking to the media, says reports. Half of Austrians fear stating opinions publicly, citing over-the-top political correctness and fear of being branded alt-right. Pollster rebrands asking women on a date or complimenting her looks as sexual harassment akin to grabbing bum or upskirt photo. Do you hear this? This person, pollster, saying that asking women on a date or complimenting her looks is sexual harassment. It's ridiculous. Lebanon's president demands PM quit if he can't form a government to tackle pandemic fallout and economic crisis. U.S. road safety regulator sides with GM after widower's lawsuit over deadly car crash. False alarm or malicious rumor, Twitter account claiming to be Ecuadorian FM falsely announces death of Julian Assange. Almost half of Americans think someone else is making the president's decisions. You think? Anti-racism training at consulting giant Deloitte, something like that, warns employees that microaggressions are now punishable offenses, says reports. Secret Service agents at VP's mansion arrest ex-drone pilot paranoid about government seeking to kill him, finds guns and ammo in his car. Terrified locals share tornado videos as violent weather hits Alabama and Mississippi. Fighting parallel societies, Danish government wants to cap number of non-Western residents in neighborhoods at 30%. And there you go. Those are the headlines. So I am going to get out of here and enjoy the rest of my evening before I go to bed, which will be before too long. And I hope you do as well. So hope to see you tomorrow. God willing, we will. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.